Hi, welcome to our second part of discussion. So today's discussion special, Toffee will be joining you guys and she'll be very attentively listening to this discussion and will be making notes simultaneously. Welcome Toffee. You can just sit down and follow our discussion. Okay? Okay. In this video, we'll discuss the next set of questions based on the keywords which I have given me. If you need any further information or you need any further clarification, just leave a comment. I'll see if I can give you additional information either in the description part of the same video or we'll try to include this information in the next segment. Okay, so let's start with our first question in part 2. So there seems to be a question on odontogenic tumors, classification, etc. So here is some relevant information. So as you can see, we have WHO benign odontogenic tumor classification from 1971 to 2017. So 1971 you have this original classification and some of these tumors have been removed in 1992. Again reintroduced in 2005 and again there are some modifications and updates in 2017 WHO classification. As you can see, in specific keratocystic odontogenic tumor has been removed from 2017 classification and has been included as a cyst. It's mentioned that it's one of the most controversial decisions taken, right? So this is some relevant information pertaining to this odontogenic tumor classification. So see what the question is, or if you need any further elaboration or any further information, as I said, do let me know, right? So now let's move on to the next question. So there seems to be a question on TMJ development and I got options where I've seen weeks, right, like 7 to 8 weeks or 10 weeks in the options. Again, I'm not sure what the question is, but the keyword which I received is TMJ development and options with weeks, right? So as you can see, some relevant information pertaining to development of joint at approximately 10 weeks. The components of fetus future joint become evident in the mesenchyme between the condylar cartilage of the mandible and developing temporal bone. And two slit-like joint cavities and an intervening disc make their appearance in this region by 12 weeks, right? So some relevant information based on the keywords I received. Again, do let me know if you need any further elaboration. Okay, now let's move on to the next question or next keyword, Odland bodies. In fact, this is a repetition as far as my memory is concerned. In one of the previous entrances, 2018 or 19, I think we had a question on Odland bodies. So we have reviewed the literature way back then, we'll just repeat the same. So as you can see, Odland bodies, so these are also called as keratinosomes or membrane coating granules. So in stratum granulosum, the cell surfaces become more regular and more closely applied to adjacent cell surfaces, and at the same time, the lamellar granules, a small organelle, also known as keratinosome, Odland body or membrane coating granule, forms in the upper spinous and granular cell layers. The membrane coating granules are glycolipids and it has an internal lamellated structure as you can see in the image, and lamellar granules discharge their contents into the intercellular space forming an intercellular lamellar material which contributes to permeability barrier, and this barrier forms the junction of granular and cornified cell layers. The intercellular space of this region has a lamellar structure similar to that of lamellar granule and contains glycolipid. Right? Some information pertaining to Odland bodies. I hope it is relevant and useful. Now let's move to the next keyword. The next question. Cyclosporin induced gingival enlargement occurs on which surface? So these are some of the keywords which I received. So if you review literature based on one of the articles available in PubMed, gingival overgrowth normally begins at interdental papilla and is more frequently found in anterior segment of labial surfaces. Although the precise mechanism for this gingival overgrowth remains incomplete, it is probably as a result of interaction between cyclosporin A and its metabolites with susceptible gingival fibroblast cells, right? So consider this information very, very important, right? I hope it's clear. Now let's move on to the next keywords. Tooth. So there seems to be a question on dimensions of tooth once again. So only tooth with lingual dimensions larger than buccal. Was that the question? So anyways, do let me know again if I'm wrong. So obviously it is a case of maxillary first molar, as you can clearly see in this image. So the lingual dimensions, so especially mesodistal width at lingual is greater than at buccal in case of first molar. That's true in case of maxillary first molar. Whereas mesodistal dimension is greater buccally than lingually, obviously in case of lower molars. Right? Lower first molar, lower molars. So this is some relevant information pertaining to these keywords. Again, as I said, the objective of these sessions is to make sure that we're touching the topics relevant to these keywords or questions, and we'll make sure that we'll review all available literature, standard literature pertaining to these topics, so that this helps you in the upcoming exams, especially the upcoming AIIMS as well as NEET MDS entrance, right? So let me know any information you need pertaining to these topics, or you have any additional keywords, do let me know. I'll incorporate them in the coming segments accordingly. I hope it's clear. Wish you all the best. Love you all.